नमः पार्वतीपतये हर हर महादेव शम्भो शंकर। बोलिए श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। विवेक चूड़ामणि मंगलाचरण श्लोक। ओम सर्ववेदांत सिद्धांत गोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम् सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। Yesterday we were discussing what are the great and great qualities of master, the spiritual teacher, one who is Srotriya, one who is well versed in the scriptures, and he is the free from all kinds of sins, and he is not at all affected by any kind of desires. He is Brahmavittama. He is the knower of Brahman and all the time abiding in the self Brahma Swarupa only. Shantaha Nirindana Ivanalaha. When there will not be fuel, that fire also will not be there. In the same way, that Mahatma is quiet and very peaceful because no vasanas at all in him. And ahetuka daya sindhuhu bandhuhu anamatam satam. He is the ocean of compassion. Without any cause, he will be loving everyone, having that compassion towards everyone, and one who surrendered to him, anamatam satam, those who are good people, for them he is like bandhu, intimate friend, suhrudaha. He is the great well-wisher of those who have surrendered to him. We are very fortunate. We are having such kind of Guru Mahatmas. Whatever qualities described here, we can see all these great qualities in our Guru Parampara. Tapovan Maharaj and Pujya Gurudev and entire Parampara. We are so blessed. We are having these kind of great Mahatmas, Gurus. We belong to such kind of wonderful Guru Parampara. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmat Acharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. This entire Guru Parampara from Bhagwan to now we are receiving this knowledge from our Mahatmas, our Gurus. All of them are having these great wonderful qualities of Atma Vidya Acharya, Brahma Vidya Acharya. After approaching that Guru Mahatma, that disciple, he has to serve him. Tam Aradyam Gurum Bhaktya, with deep devotion, he has to worship that Guru, that master, Prahva Prasraya Sevananhi, with surrender, with humility, with service, he has to please that Mahatma. Mahatmas are not pleased by just because of the seva, etc. These are meant for the purification of the mind of disciple. Disciple has to grow and he has to come out from the all negativities. That's why all these kinds of sadhanas prescribed to the disciple. Prasannam tam anuprapya, one who is pleased that Guru Mahatma, having approached him, pruchet, that disciple, he has to ask, Nyatavyam Atmanaha, whatever should be known about that self, he has to ask and he should receive that wonderful knowledge. When he approached that Guru Mahatma, that disciple is explaining and he is expressing what was his state of mind, and he wants to come out from the bondages, he wants to get that liberation by receiving the self-knowledge. So here, wonderful prayer done by Shishya. Yesterday just we have chanted that sloka number 35. Today we will see the meaning of this sloka. Once again we will chant together this sloka. Have you memorized? Any one of you? Oh, okay, good. Swamin namaste nataloka bandho कारुण्य सिंधो पतितं भवाब्धौ मामुद्धरात्मीय कटाक्षदृष्ट्या रुज्व्याति कारुण्यसुधाभिवृष्ट्या रुज्व्याति कारुण्यसुधाभिवृष्ट्या. Swami, Namaste. Namaha means salutations. Te means Tubhyam, to you. Swamin, O Master, Master of the senses and mind. Lord, Swamin. We use this word for Bhagwan also, na? Swami, Swami. So, Guru is equal to Bhagwan, one who mastered over his senses and mind. Master or Lord. This is the meaning of Swamin. Swamin is vocative case. Vocative case means Sambodhana. It's calling. Swamin, Sambodhana. Swamin, Namaha Te. Salutations unto you. Te, to be to you. Swamin Namaste. Nataloka Bandhu. Nataloka Bandhu. You are the very near and dear well-wisher and friend. It's not a relative like that. Here Bandhu means one who is very close to our heart. Intimate friend. To whom? Nataloka. Nataloka means those who have surrendered to you. Those who are saluting to you. Means to his disciples. To his devotees. Nataloka Bandhu. Swamin Namaste. Nataloka Bandhu. Once we surrender to that Guru Mahatma, he will consider us as his own people and he will guide us. See, even though that Guru Mahatma is having love and compassion towards everyone, but others are unable to recognize the greatness and glory of that Mahatma. If they are criticizing and causing troubles, they cannot receive blessings from that Mahatma. That's why here the word is used, Nataloka Bandhu. It's not partiality. Here those who have surrendered, that Mahatma will bless them. It's quite common. Nataloka Bandhu. Karunya Sindhu Patitam Bhavabdhu. Karunya Sindhu. Sindhu means ocean. Karunya Sindhu means the ocean of compassion. Your compassion is boundless. No boundaries at all. No limitation at all. In ignorant state, I may be unable to understand your great teachings. But please have compassion. You are the ocean of compassion. If I will commit any mistakes without my knowledge, please forgive me. Karunya Sindhu Patitam Bhavabdhu. Abdi means again ocean. Patita means fallen. Patitam Bhavabdhu. Bhava Abdi. Bhava Abdi means the ocean of change, the ocean of samsara, the ocean of death, the ocean of becoming. Oh Master, please, please have compassion towards me. I am drowning in the ocean of samsara, fallen in the ocean of samsara. Bhava Abdi. Karunya Sindhu Patitam Bhavabdhu. All these words, Swamin and this Nataloka Bandhu, Karunya Sindhu, all these words are in vocative case. Sambodhana is calling, addressing that Guru Mahatma. Karunya Sindhu Patitam Bhavabdhu. Mamuddharapniya Katakshe Drustya. Mom means me. The disciple is asking me, Mom, Uddhara. Uddhara means please save me. Mom, Uddhara. Mamuddhara Atmiya Kataksha Dristya. It's not like literally that a person is drowning in the ocean and Guru Mahatma will come and give his hand and he will lift him up. Not like that. These kind of ocean is very subtle in form. This samsara sagara cannot be seen with our eyes, but in ignorant state, we will be going through that suffering when we will be drowning in that one. So here, O Guru Mahatma, O Swamin, please save me, Mam Uddara, with how Guru Mahatma can say Atmiya Kataksha Drustya. Aksha means eyes. Atmiya Kataksha Drustya means Atmiya with lot of affection. Please once look at me with affection, with compassion. Kataksha Drustya. Atmiya. It's like how mother will be looking at his children. Even though all children are, it's like her children only, but when she will be looking at his own child, that affection can be seen in her eyes. That Atmiya. Atmiya Bhava means feeling of one's own. Oh Guru Mahatma, please don't keep me away from your heart. Please consider me as your own person. See, when person will take care of other person, when we feel that connection, that other person is not other person, he is my person. Yes. When that relationship is there, then that person will be all the time having love and care towards other person. He is no more other person, his own person. So, Atmiya Kataksha Drustyam Mamuddharatmiya Katakshi Drustyam Dujvyati Karunya Sudabhivrustyam. He is praying that Guru Mahatma, please look at me with compassion, with affection. Karunya, Ati Karunya, not Karunya, Ati Karunya. Ati Karunya means extreme compassion. Before that, Rujvya is there. Rujvya means direct, Sarala Rupena, direct glance. Rujusvabhava, straightforward in nature. So here Rujvya means direct. Rujvyati Karunya, Ati Karunya, with extreme compassion. Sudhabhi Vrustya. Vrusti means rain. Sudha means nectar. Sudha Abhivrustya. Abhivrustya means pouring like anything, showering. Let me drench in the nectar and rain of your glance of compassion. Please shower upon me your compassion, so that all my impurities will be washed away. I can come out from all kinds of bondages and sorrows. Someone may think, is it possible just by looking at the disciple with compassion that Guru Mahatma can remove his sorrow? That Guru Mahatma can impart that knowledge? Yes, no doubt about it. See, in our day-to-day life also, when other person is having love and care towards us, even though that person may not be giving any money or anything, but once when we are in a state of suffering, when we are going through problems, if that person is looking at us with compassion and love, that glance itself will give us consolation, and it will give us strength, support. Yes. So here, Adi Shankaracharya ji, he is putting in such kind of words, poetic way he is expressing that how disciple is praying that Guru Mahatma. When thoughts are there in our intellect, from intellectual standpoint, if we want to express through words those thoughts, it's easy. About one concept, about one object, it's very easy to express and it's very easy to describe that. When we want to express our feelings and emotions through words, it's not easy. Yes. To put the emotion and to put the feeling in words, that extra quality is required, in fact. That is called poetry. When person wants to express his emotions and feelings, ordinary kinds of words cannot communicate completely. That's why poetic words will be used. This is called bhava prakatana. Bhava prakatana, expression of that emotion and feeling. One child went to his father and started asking, "Father, bolo, what my dear, tell me." "Father, you're loving me, na?" "Of course, yes, I'm loving you." "That's why you're asking like this." No, you're loving me, na?" "Yes, I'm loving you." "Father, tell me how much you are having love towards me." How much love? Now, how that father can put his love into words to express, how the child can understand. Just he will be saying, "I love you so much, my dear son." Is it enough? Is it sufficient? No. See, when we want to express our feeling and emotion, few words are not sufficient. Even though our Pujya Adi Shankaracharya is great philosopher, but when it comes to expression of bhava, we can see the great poet in him. This is the masterpiece, we can say, one of the masterpieces of his slokas in poetic form. Swamin namaste nakaloka bandhu. This sloka we should not chant. Swamin namaste nataloka bandhu karunya sindhu patitam bhavabdha mamudaratmiya kataksha dristya rajivati karunya sudhabhirustya. Not like that. It cannot communicate properly like that. So, Swamin Namaste. In that Namaste only, that disciple is expressing his surrenderance. Completely, I am bowing down in front of you, Master. Is completely, I am having that dedication and sincerity. Please accept me as your disciple. Namaste, Namaste. Swamin Namaste, Nataloka Bandho. You are very close, you are very dear and near to one who surrendered to you. Karunya Sindhu Patitam Bhavabdham. Why should I help you? Because you are ocean of compassion. And I am drowning in the ocean of samsara. Your ocean of the compassion. See the words also here. Karunya Sindho Patitam Bhavabdho. Both are abdhis only. See Shankaracharya how he used the words also. We have to go deep into the heart of the poet. Then we will come to know what is the greatness and glory hidden in that poetry. If we want to understand any poetic thing, any poetry, we have to understand the heart of that poet also. If we want to understand Kavitva, we have to understand the heart of Kavi, the poet. So he is saying, Karuna Sindhu, Karunya Sindhu, you are the ocean of compassion. I am drowning in the ocean of samsara. Please, Mam Uddhara, please lift me up, protect me, save me. How? Atmiya Kataksha Dristya. Once, please look at me. Directly look at me with compassionate eyes. One glance. How many years that Jiva will be waiting to get that one glance of Guru Mahatma. Those who have tried for that, they only can understand. See, ordinary kind of people, worldly kind of people cannot understand this emotion. How much that love will be there in the heart of that Guru. If we approach him properly, we will come to know. Many people, they can't understand. They will misuse that opportunity. When Guru Mahatma will come to in our life, we should not miss that opportunity. His one glance with compassion. A person may be thinking, what is there? Other people are also just looking at us, and that Mahatma also, he is having eyes and he will be all the time looking at us. No, not that one. He has special grace, special blessings. With one sankalpa, that Mahatma can impart that self-knowledge to the disciple. This is Netra Diksha, Sankalpa Diksha, Sparsha Diksha, by touching or by mere Sankalpa. Just Guru Mahatma will be having the thought that this disciple will come out from this ocean of samsara. Yes, he will come out. But that disciple also should be in position to receive that knowledge. He should have the great qualities. He should be a fit student, then he can. So Netra Diksha, just by looking at that disciple, he can remove all his negativities and so many vasanas also. So Mamuddharatmiya Kataksha Dristya, that word also. See, look at that word. Wow. Mamuddharatmiya Kataksha Dristya, Rujvati Karunya Sudhabhirustya, raining the nectarine grace stream there. Once your eyes glance, let me fall upon me. This is wonderful prayer done by Shishya, disciple. Before this sloka, what we have seen, that disciple, he approached Guru Mahatma, he entered into that Gurukula and he served that Guru Mahatma. He surrendered, he is having humility and he did that Susrusha, Prahva, Prasraya Sevanaihi. Yes, we have seen that. So now he is expecting that Karuna, that compassion from Guru. I am trying my level best, but I am unable to come out from this ocean of samsara. I am going more and more deeper into this one because this world is like that. So many temptations, so many attractions, so many negativities inside and outside also. Please, once look at me with compassionate eyes. One glance of directly, once look at me. So Adi Shankaracharya, he put in such kind of wonderful poetic words to communicate what was the feeling, that bhava, emotion in the heart of the disciple. When the disciple is having love with reverence, see, love and reverence. Love with reverence is called bhakti. Only having love or only having respect? No, not like that. Love and respect, both should be there towards Guru Mahatma. Then that bhava, that feeling will come. That's why it is said Guru is not an ordinary human being. He is Sakshat Brahma Swarupa. Then this bhava will come. How our favorite God will come and stand in front of us. We will be asking that Bhagwan, Swami, Bhagwan, please once look at me with compassionate eyes, like that. I tried my level best to communicate, but these words are not sufficient. This bhava is much more than all these words. That feeling, that emotion. Wonderful. Only Shankaracharya can communicate, I think, properly. Guru Mahatma heard all these things said by the disciple, and that Guru Mahatma just he's looking at the disciple, but disciple he felt no, Guru Mahatma he's not understanding my situation properly. He thought like that. Let me put into another words. He's trying. And gurus also sometimes they are very strict. Just they will be observing what is the state of the mind of disciples, how they will respond, how they will react. Sometimes Guru Mahatmas they will not speak anything at all, as though they will be very far away from us. They will be behaving like that. All these things are like pariksha, like test only. So having received this kind of prayer also, that Guru Mahatma, he didn't say anything, he didn't speak anything. And this disciple, he thought, no, how much pain is there in my heart? But so Guru, he's not expressing anything. So let me put in other word also, other words. Better I can communicate in other words. Now, in the next sloka, earlier, Swami Namaste, like that. Now, this sloka is not like a smooth way. He's pouring out his burning kind of pain in front of Guru Mahatma. At least Guru Mahatma will understand his pain in this way. So when Puja Gurudev, he was explaining this Vivek Chudamani, when it comes to sloka number 35, he said the great philosopher, it's so overpowered by the great poet, and he put, Shankaracharya put in such kind of words, and he expressed the wonderful bhava, wonderful emotion, wonderful prayer of the disciple. And when it comes to sloka number 36, Puja Gurudev, he said, don't chant this sloka like Durvara Samsara, not like that. He said he was in such kind of condition that a disciple, he was expressing his burning pain, what is there in his heart. So you have to chant this sloka very fast, because it's a time of urgency. It's very urgent that a disciple is in such condition. Guru Mahatma immediately, I want to come out from this bondage. You give moksha like that. I hope you are understanding. So this sloka should be chanted a little bit with more speed, faster than earlier sloka. Durvara samsara davagni taptam, Durvara samsara davagni taptam, Dodhuyamanam duradrustavataih, Dodhuyamanam duradrustavataih, Bhitam prapannam paripahi mrityoh, Bhitam prapannam paripahi mrityoh, Sharanyamanyedhyadaham na jani, Sharanyamanyedhyadaham na jani. It's like when something is there in fire, that other person wants to communicate to another person, it's in fire, your house is in fire, please go. It's how that person will say. He will not say, I have seen that your house is in fire, so better you can go and save that. I don't know, people also maybe they're in home. So person should not say like that. Now should not he he cannot also. So what he said, no. Even sometimes because of that overpowered by that bhava, the words also will not be proper. It's saying in such a way, no, I have seen this. Your house is in fire or houses. I don't know. It's I want to say something. What? First, let me know. It's, no, you're fire. You not fire. Your house is in fire. Please go and say. It's like, see which word is coming first, which word is coming next. Is all these things also confused because of that bhava. It's in urgency because of that urgent condition. So when the disciple, he understood the state of his ignorance, immediately he wants to come out from that. See, when that person is not able to understand his ignorant state and he will be seeking for happiness in the world, worldly objects, then Aram say he will be as though enjoying little bit here and there in this world. No problem for him. But once person started thinking, what is this world? What is my life? What is the goal of my life? Why I came here in this world? What should be achieved by me? Once that person started thinking, he will come to know this world is not the place to get permanent happiness, eternal happiness. How long I have to work like this, like slave only, go on, depending on so many things to get happiness. But this is not the way. Something else is there. I have to come out from all these kind of sorrows and bondages. So when that person will come to know he is in the bondage, then he will try to come out from that bondage. So here that a disciple, he was putting in such a way so that Guru Mahatma immediately he will come and save that disciple by imparting that knowledge. Durvara, samsara, davagni taptam. Oh Swamin, oh Guru, Mahatma, Durvara, samsara. Durvara means that which is very difficult to stop, very difficult to come over. Vara, nivara means stopping. Durvara, difficult to stop, cannot escape. Durvara, samsara, the change, the constant change. Samsara, dava agni taptam. Davagni means forest fire. You might have heard, or you might have not seen, but you might have heard or you might have seen in some places, means serials, cinemas, etc. That forest fire is like that. Once it started anywhere, the corner of that forest, it's slowly spreading everywhere, and it will become in such a way very difficult to control and very difficult to stop that fire. Unless it will completely burn everything, it will not be stopped. So like that forest fire, here what is the forest fire? Samsara. The samsara is like forest fire, and taptam. Taptam means roasted. Oh Guru Mahatma, you understand my condition. I'm being roasted in the forest fire of samsara. Fire of samsara. So the disciple is feeling such pain. He understood this world is not the place for me to get happiness. I am in such kind of pitiable condition. It's burning. So, Durvara, Samsara, Davagni Taptam, I'm being roasted. Roasted, you can understand that word. Generally, what we will be roasting? Vegetables, etc. But here, Bechara, that disciple, he is in that condition, being roasted in the fire of samsara. Not only that, dodhuyamanam duradrusta vataihi. Vata means wind. Duradrusta vataihi. Duradrusta, adrusta means unseen, luck we say. Here duradrusta means misfortunes. Now, when that person is experiencing such kind of miserable kind of experiences in life, so see here we have to understand, when person will be going through so many kinds of difficulties and problems, that time only a person will be starting thinking like this, he'll understand what is the ignorant state, what are the bondages. And here he is saying, Duradrusta Vatehi Dodhuyaman. Already I'm being roasted in the fire of samsara. And this wind of misfortunes added to that. When fire is there and wind also added to that, how that fire will be growing more and more, blazing like anything. So here, Dodhuyamanam. Dodhuyamanam means being tossed, like left and right. Sometimes in life, such kind of situations will come. We don't know why we are undergoing all those kind of things also, from here and from there, and why people are behaving like that, why we will be in such kind of a situation. So sometimes we are unable to come out from such kind of situations. We cannot overcome them. Just we have to go through. We have to suffer. So here, Dodhuyamanam means being tossed by duradrustavataihi, by the storms of misfortunes. Not ordinary kind of wind, it's like a storm. It's just coming and it's blowing. Because of these kind of winds, again and again, this what you call forest fire is growing more and more. Forest fire means here fire of samsara, Davagni, samsara Davagni. Then what to say? Swamin, Guru Mahatma, Bheetam, I am terrified, afraid, so much fear. So we don't know what will happen, what is going to come in our life, whom we are going to lose, what we are going to lose, and what kind of difficulty will come to us. And already facing so many difficulties, so many sorrowful kind of situations undergoing. So many bondages, no happiness, no peace in life. So I'm afraid, I'm terrified. Bheta. Bhetam. Prapannam. Prapannam means one who has seeking refuge, one who has taken shelter. Prapannam, taking refuge, taking ashraya. Prapannam. Paripahi mrutyoho. Mrutyoho from the death. Person will be having so many kinds of fears, but fear of death is more and more in the mind of a person. It creates a lot of hesitation. Person is so uncertain after what will happen after giving up this body. Person doesn't want to give up this body because he doesn't know after giving up this body what will happen. He will be thinking we will lose this all kind of things whatever we are having now. We cannot see these people, we cannot see these objects, we cannot experience the same thing what we are experiencing now. So after giving up this body, where we will go? What will happen to us? Who will be there with us? In this world, we are having such kind of thought. Everything will be around us, will be conducive, then we will be happy. And the entire life, the person will be trying to adjust this one, that one, and he always wants to acquire something to be happy. He made everything comfortable, and suddenly Yamadharmaraj will come as, come along with me. He will take. What will happen? And one more meaning of mrityu means change, continuous change, constant change. So here, paripahi mrityoho, not pahi, paripahi. Please save me. Pahi Prabho, pahi Vibho, please save me. Please protect me from this mrityu, from this death. This death is not only death of the body. See, so many times we are undergoing this death, each and every moment, in fact, the change only. So let me come out from all these kind of things. Sharanyam anyat aham na jane. Sharanyam means abode of refuge. Here refuse, R-E-F-U-G-E, not another kind of refuse. Here refuse means asraya, shelter, sharanya. You are the abode of shelter. You are the abode of refuge. Anyat, anyat means another. Yat, because another cause, another one. Aham, aham means I. Na jane, I don't know. I don't know any other abode of refuge other than you. Means completely I am depending upon you. You are the only and only master to protect me from this kind of terrible kind of fire and terrible kind of winds. And more terrible is mrityu. Please save me. Please protect me. See, comparing with earlier sloka, we cannot compare, but in earlier sloka, in soft way, with a lot of emotion, that disciple, he put his words and he expressed his state of mind in front of Guru. But in this sloka, sloka number 36, he was expressing his pitiable condition and painful condition. I'm undergoing such kind of burning pain. Please come and protect me. This kind of pain and this kind of situation can be understood by only the person, one who is seeking for liberation now and here. One who understood the limitations of the worldly kind of things. Other people can't understand what is there. He is having all his own people and he is having so much wealth. He is a good person also. He is having name and fame. Everything is fine for him. He can enjoy in this world. People will be saying like that. But that person knows how much pain is there in his mind. Example is in Ramayana, when Ramchandraji, he studied in Gurukula. Afterwards, he went to different places to wander in that kingdom. After coming back from the pilgrimage, he was not at all interested in anything. He was even not having proper food, and he is not sleeping well, and he is not mingling with people. He is not at all participating in any entertainment kind of things. And all people started thinking, what happened to Ramji? What happened to Ramji? And day by day, he is becoming so lean and so thin and lean. And he is as though entered into depression like that, appeared like that to other people. But in fact, when Vishwamitra Rishi, he came to Dasharaji to ask Ramchandraji to protect his yajna, that time, this Vishwamitra and Vasishtha Maharshi, they understood the condition of Ramchandraji is the condition of seeker, the jignasu. We may be thinking, Ramchandraji is, he is having everything. Why should he be like that? He can enjoy everything, na? And he is going to become king also. He is in royal palace. Everything is there for him. Why he is in such kind of condition? Because he understood all these things are not going to be permanent. He has to seek something else is there which is permanent. So Ramchandraji, he asked the question. All people they are taking birth to die, and they are dying to get another birth. Janma and Marana. So what else is there? Is this the life? And I am also going to face same kind of thing. I want to know what is the truth behind all these things. So great Mahatmas, they imparted that wonderful knowledge that is called Yoga Vasishtha. So here also the seeker, he is expressing such kind of painful condition which he is undergoing. Please, Guru Mahatma, please understand. And here in this sloka, we can see that urgency, immediately I want to come out. When that person is having that pain, that sorrow, that person wants to come out that immediately. This is called Tivra Mumukshutva. He is Viveki, he is having Vairagya, Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti, and Tivra Mumukshutva also. Then what Guru Mahatma will do? We will see tomorrow what is the glory of Guru Mahatmas and how Guru Mahatma will respond to such kind of disciple. Shall we chant this 35th sloka once again? Swamin namaste nataloka bandhu karunya sindhu patitam bhavantam mamuddharatmiya katakshi drustya rujvyati karunya sudhabhivrustya. May all of us will receive the blessings, grace of Guru Parampara. May we come out from all bondages. May we get liberation. Om. बोलिए श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय. ओम लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु. ओम असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतंगमय. ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम शांति शांति शांति. हरिः ओम. श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. हरिः ओम. సద్గురువుని ఆశ్రయించినటువంటి శిష్యుడు తను ఉన్నటువంటి స్థితిని సద్గురువుకి ఏ విధంగా తెలియపరుస్తూ ఉన్నారు, ఏ విధమైనటువంటి ప్రార్థన చేస్తూ ఉన్నారు ఆధ్యాత్మిక విద్యని పొందడం కోసం అన్నటువంటిది పూజ్య ఆదిశంకరాచార్యుల వారు చాలా అద్భుతమైనటువంటి కవితా రూపంలో ఈ 35వ శ్లోకం నుండి ఉన్నటువంటి కొన్ని శ్లోకాల్లో వ్యక్తం చేయడం జరిగింది. ఈ 35వ శ్లోకం చాలా ఉన్నతమైనటువంటి భావ వ్యక్తీకరణ చేసేటువంటి శ్లోకంగా మనము చెప్పుకోవచ్చు. స్వామిన్ నమస్తే నతలోక బంధు. సద్గురువుకి నమస్కారం చెప్తూ ఇక్కడ గురువు గారు ఎవరు అంటే సాక్షాత్ భగవత్ స్వరూపము, ఇంద్రియ నిగ్రహం మనోనిగ్రహం కలిగి ఉన్నటువంటి వారు, ఇంద్రియాలని మనస్సుని జయించినటువంటి వారు స్వామి. ఇది సంబోధన అన్నమాట. గురువు గారిని సంబోధిస్తూ చెప్పండి. స్వామి నతలోక బంధు కారుణ్య సింధు. నతలోక బంధు అంటే ఎవరైతే ఆయనకి అంకిత భావంతో వాళ్ళని వాళ్ళు సమర్పించుకొని ఉంటారో, ఎవరైతే ఆయనకి నమస్కరిస్తారో అటువంటి వాళ్ళకి మంచి జరగాలని ఎప్పుడు నిరంతరము కోరుకుంటూ ఉండేటువంటి వారు. బంధువు లాంటి వారు అంటే చాలా హృదయానికి దగ్గరగా ఉండేటువంటి వారు. నతలోక బంధు కారుణ్య సింధు. కరుణా సాగరుడు. సాగరానికి సముద్రానికి ఏ విధంగా అపారంగా ఉంటుందో సాగరము, అదే విధంగా ఈయన కరుణ కూడా అపారమైనటువంటిది. కారుణ్య సింధు. పతితం భవాబ్ధౌ మాముద్దరాత్మీయ కటాక్ష దృష్ట్యా. నేను ఈ సంసార సాగరంలో పడి కొట్టుకుపోతూ ఉన్నాను, మీ కరుణా కటాక్ష వీక్షణాలతో నన్ను ఒక్కసారి దయచూసి అనుగ్రహించండి. రుజ్వ్యాతి కారుణ్య సుధాభిరుష్ట్య. మీ అమృతం ప్రాయమైనటువంటి అమృత తుల్యమైనటువంటి ఆ కటాక్ష వీక్షణాలు అనేటువంటి వర్షములో నేను తడిచిపోదును గాక. నాలో ఉన్నటువంటి మాలిన్యములన్నీ కూడా తొలగిపోవును గాక. నేను కృతకృత్యుని అవుదును గాక. ఒక్కసారి దయచేసి దయచేసి నన్ను కరుణించండి. ఒక్కసారి మీ కరుణా కటాక్ష వీక్షణాలు నా మీద ప్రసరింప చెయ్యండి అనేసి ప్రార్థిస్తూ ఉన్నారు. ఈ ప్రార్థన చేస్తూ ఉన్నప్పుడు గురువు గారు అలాగే వింటూ ఉన్నారు. ఆయన నుంచి ఎక్కువ స్పందన కనిపించలేదు శిష్యుడికి. అందుకోసమని శిష్యుడు తన హృదయంలో ఉన్నటువంటి బాధనంతా కూడా వ్యక్తం చేస్తూ ఉన్నారనమాట. ఈ ప్రపంచంలో అనేక విధాలైనటువంటి అనుభవాలని పొంది పరిశీలించి చూసి వీటిల్లో ఎక్కడా కూడా సారభూతమైనటువంటిది లేదు, ఇది ఆనందానికి నిలయము కాదు, దుఃఖయోని అని తెలుసుకున్నటువంటి ఆలోచన పరుడు వైరాగ్యంతో వివేక వైరాగ్యాలు కలిగి ఉన్నటువంటి వ్యక్తి తన యొక్క బంధన స్థితిని గురించి, బాధాకరమైనటువంటి స్థితిని గురించి గురువు గారికి చెప్తున్నారు. 36వ శ్లోకంలో దుర్వార సంసార దవాగ్ని తప్తం. హే స్వామి, హే గురువర్య, బ్రహ్మ విద్య ఆచార్య, నేను ఎటువంటి స్థితిలో ఉన్నాను అంటే ఈ సంసారం అనేటువంటి దవాగ్ని, అడవిలో పుట్టినటువంటి అగ్ని కొంచెముగా పుట్టినటువంటి మొత్తం ఏ విధంగా అడవిని అంతా కూడా కాల్చేస్తుందో, అదే విధంగా ఈ భవ అగ్ని అన్నటువంటిది, సంసార అగ్ని అన్నటువంటిది నన్ను దహింపజేస్తూ ఉంది. దీన్ని నివారించడము సులభమైనటువంటిది కాదు. ఇది కాక దోదూయమానం దురదృష్టవాతై, వీటికి ఈ అగ్నికి తోడుగా విపరీతమైనటువంటి ఈ దురదృష్టకరమైనటువంటి వాతము అంటే గాలి అన్నమాట. ఈ గాలి పెనుగాలి అన్నమాట. ఈ పెనుగాలులన్నీ వీస్తూ ఉన్నాయి. దీనివల్ల ఇంకా అగ్ని అన్నటువంటిది ప్రజ్వరిల్లుతూ ఉంది. వీటన్నింటి కారణంగా భయపడిపోతున్నాము. భయస్థితిలో ఉన్నటువంటి వాళ్ళను రక్షించడం మహాత్ముల యొక్క కరుణా కటాక్షం, మహాత్ముల యొక్క కర్తవ్యము కదా. అంత కరుణామయులు కదా. భయస్థితిలో ఉన్నాను, భయపడుతూ ఉన్నాను. ప్రపన్నం, మిమ్మల్ని శరణు పొంది ఉన్నాను, మిమ్మల్ని ఆశ్రయించి ఉన్నాను. పరిపాహి మృత్యోహో, దయచేసి నన్ను ఈ మృత్యువు నుండి రక్షించండి. ఎప్పుడూ మార్పుకి లోనయ్యేటువంటి ఈ సంసార చక్రము నుండి నన్ను బయటపడేయండి. ఇంతకాలం అజ్ఞానంలో ఉండి ఇదే సుఖము, ఇదే ఆనందము అనుకున్నాను, పొరపాటు పడ్డాను. కానీ ఇప్పుడు తెలిసొచ్చింది అదంతా కూడా అగ్ని స్వరూపము దహింపచేస్తూ ఉంది, బంధన కారణమైనటువంటిది. ఎన్ని కోట్ల జన్మలెత్తినా, ఎన్నిసార్లు అనుభవించినా మనిషికి తృప్తి కలగదు కదా, ఆనందం మిగలదు కదా. ఎన్నిసార్లు ఎన్ని కర్మలు చేస్తూ ఉండాలి, ఎంతకాలం ఇలా కొనసాగుతూ ఉండాలి. దయచేసి నన్ను ఈ మృత్యువు నుండి రక్షించండి. పరిపాహి మృత్యోహో శరణ్యం అన్యత్ అహం న జానే. మీరు ఇంకొకరి దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళండి అని అంటారేమో, ఆ మాట కూడా అనకండి. ఎందుకంటే మీరు తప్ప నాకు మరొక శరణ్యము లేదు, మీరు తప్ప నాకు మరొక ఆశ్రయము లేదు. అన్యథా శరణం నాస్తి త్వమేవ శరణం మమ. నేను మిమ్మల్ని ఆశ్రయించుకొని ఉన్నాను. చాలా మంది గురువులు ఉన్నారు, చాలా మంది మహాత్ములు ఉన్నారు, వాళ్ళు ఇంకా బాగా అన్నింటినీ బ్రహ్మ విద్యని బోధించగలరని మీరు అంటారేమో. ఎంతమంది అన్నా ఉండొచ్చు స్వామి, కానీ నన్ను మీ శిష్యుడిగా భావించి నాకు జ్ఞానాన్ని బోధించండి. నన్ను ఈ అవబంధాల నుంచి బయట పడివేయగలిగినటువంటి వాళ్ళు మరొకరెవ్వరూ కూడా లేరు. నచికేతుల వారు యమధర్మరాజుతో ఈ మాట అంటారనమాట. యమధర్మరాజు గారు వచ్చేసి, నీకు భూలోక ఆధిపత్యం అంతా ఇస్తాను, నిన్ను రాజును చేస్తాను, నువ్వు ఎంతకాలం జీవించాలనుకుంటే అంతకాలం జీవించవచ్చు, నీకు ఏవి కావాలన్నా కూడా సకల సంపదలు, ఏవైనా సుఖభోగాలు అన్ని ఇస్తాను, ఆ ఒక్కటి అడక్కు అంటారు. ఏంటి అక్కడంటే బ్రహ్మ రహస్యం, మృత్యు రహస్యాన్ని అడుగుతారు అనమాట నచికేతుల వారు. అస్థిత్యేకే నాయమస్థితి చేయి, అసలు ఉందా లేదా, మరణించిన తర్వాత ఏమవుతుంది, ఉంటాడా ఉంటాడా, మరణ రహస్యం, బ్రహ్మ రహస్యం. అది కాకుండా ఇంకేదైనా, ఈవెన్ దేవతలకు కూడా అది అర్థం చేసుకోవడం కష్టం. అంటే అలా అయితే దేవతలకు కూడా కష్టమైనటువంటిది అర్థం చేసుకోవడానికి ఇంత ఉత్తమమైంది అయితే ఇవన్నీ నాకెందుకు, తవైవ వాహ స్తవ నృత్య గీతే, వాహనాలు నృత్యాలు అన్ని కూడా మీరు ఇస్తానన్నవన్నీ మీ దగ్గరే పెట్టేసుకోండి, నాకు మాత్రం అదొక్కటే బోధ చేయండి. పైగా ఇంత ఉన్నతమైనది అంటున్నారు కదా, మరి ఇంత ఉన్నతమైన విద్యని బోధించేటువంటి వారు మీరు కాక ఇంకెవరు ఉంటారు? మీరు ఎదురుగా నిలబడి ఉంటే మిమ్మల్ని నేను ఎలా వదులుకోగలుగుతాను? బ్రహ్మ విద్య ఆచార్యులు మీరు తప్ప నాకు ఎవ్వరూ కూడా ఈ బ్రహ్మజ్ఞానాన్ని బోధించలేరు, దయచేసి నన్ను కరుణించండి అని ప్రార్థిస్తారు. నచికేతుడు చిన్న బాలకుడైనా చాలా తెలివైనటువంటి వాడు, గొప్ప ఋషి అని చెప్పొచ్చు. యమధర్మరాజు గారి నుంచి బ్రహ్మజ్ఞానాన్ని పొంది ఉన్నారు. మీరు మృత్యు స్వరూపము అని అంటారు, కానీ ఆ మృత్యువును దాటి ఎలా వెళ్ళాలో చెప్పదగినటువంటి వారు మీరే స్వామి అని అంటారు. చూడండి, శరణ్యం అన్యద్ అహం న జానే. ఓ గురు మహాత్మా, నాకు వేరే వాళ్ళు ఎవరూ తెలియదు. ఒకవేళ గొప్ప మహాత్ములు గురువులు ఉన్నా నా స్థాయికి వచ్చి బోధించేటువంటి వాళ్ళు ఉండకపోవచ్చు. ఉండినా కూడా మీ నుండే జ్ఞానాన్ని పొందాలనుకుంటున్నాను. మీరే భగవత్ స్వరూపం, బ్రహ్మస్వరూపం, నన్ను అనుగ్రహించండి. ఇక్కడ ఏంటంటే వేరే వాళ్ళు ఉన్నారులే, చూసుకుంటారులే అన్నప్పుడు యువతలి వాళ్ళు పూర్తిగా మనల్ని రక్షించే అవకాశం ఉండదు. ఒక వ్యక్తి ఏదైనా సహాయం కోసము ముగ్గురు నలుగురిని అడిగి ఉంటే వాళ్ళల్లో వీళ్ళు కాకుండా వాళ్ళు చేస్తారులే అని అనుకుంటారు. అలా కాకుండా ఒక వ్యక్తి దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళి, నేను ఇంకెవ్వరికి ఈ విషయం చెప్పలేదు, పూర్తిగా నీ మీద ఆధారపడి ఉన్నాను, నువ్వే చేసి పెట్టాలి అని అన్నారు అనుకోండి, ఇంకా ఆ వ్యక్తికి ఆప్షన్ లేదు, చేయాల్సి ఉంటుంది అనమాట. సో ఇక్కడ వచ్చేసి గురువు గారిని ఎంతగానో ప్రార్థించి శిష్యుడు తను ఉన్నటువంటి దుర్భరమైన స్థితి నుండి బయటపడాలనేసి అనుకుంటున్నాను. మిగతా రేపటి కోసం చెప్పుకుందాం. కొన్ని అంశాలు ఇంగ్లీష్లో చెప్పినవి ఇక్కడ ఉండకపోవచ్చు, కొన్ని తెలుగులో చెప్పినవి ఇంగ్లీష్లో ఉండకపోవచ్చు, కానీ ఎగ్జాక్ట్ గా పదాలు ఉండకపోవచ్చు, కానీ సారాంశం అంతా ఒకటే. ఓకే. ఓం శాంతి శాంతి శాంతి. హరి ఓం. శ్రీ గురుభ్యో నమః. హరి ఓం.